And tonight on the Daily Wrap, Trump-Palin 2016? Could this be the GOP dream team some have been clamoring for? President Obama's top healthcare official coming to the defense of Planned Parenthood as Republicans threaten to cut the group's funding. Religious groups now slamming the Boy Scouts for allowing gay troop leaders. And Chris Christie promises to uphold the law on marijuana use if elected president. It's time to roll with the Daily Wrap. Get it? Live from New York City. And welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Joe Concha, along with my co-host, Rick Unger.
Good evening, sir.
What are we talking about tonight?
Well, you know, I'm going to weave this in. I spent an interesting afternoon with our friend Heather Hansen here with Governor Rick Perry introducing his new stump speech.
Interesting.
It was interesting.
I heard it's still going.
It is.
Okay.
It's 2 hours and counting.
You should have offered him your glasses instead of the Rachel Maddow glasses.
Yeah,
that he
you think
currently
these
wears.
would have been better for him than
Much
the black
more
glasses?
stylish.
Yeah?
No
Okay,
question
we'll
about
chat
it.
about that
All
with
right,
him.
good. To Mr. Glasses Right is America's pundit and Philly attorney. She is Heather Hansen. And finally, assistant online editor for Commentary Magazine, Noah Rothman. It must be Friday, or Wednesday, actually. Welcome, welcome.
If only
we wish it was Friday, but it's not.
It's still hump day.
Right, right. Wednesday has no feel. Anyway, let's get right to the Daily Download. And Donald Trump and Sarah Palin getting together for a Republican dream team. The 2016 GOP frontrunner is fueling that speculation in some circles after he told a radio host he could see himself offering the former Alaska governor and 2008 McCain running mate a position in the Trump administration.
I mean, I'd love that because she really is somebody that knows what's happening, and she's a special person. She's really a special person, and I think people know that.
And for her part, Governor Palin also said nice things about Mr. Trump, saying he's giving a voice to the untold millions fed up with the direction of our country. Okay, Rick. Look at the smirk on your face.
Just the place for her in the cabinet.
Really?
Yeah, in the lower left-hand drawer, just underneath the
that
sweaters.
kind of cabinet.
Oh, well, it must be, because who in their right mind would want to put Sarah Palin in a cabinet today? I don't know if anybody noticed, but she wasn't particularly helpful in her last race for vice president. And as near as I can tell, certainly ever since her CPAC speech, she's not doing so well anymore.
Yeah, the reality show is now off the air that she had. Obviously, her unfavorable numbers have gone up north of 50%. Yet, Trump, I think in this case, was simply being Trump, saying she's a nice lady, I love it, off the cuff, I'd put her in my cabinet. Really didn't put much thought into the comment.
That's now
Heather.
just how this works. Whatever Trump says,
Definitely.
what do we all say? It's just Trump being Trump. Go on.
It's the Brett Favre rule. Brett Favre being Brett Favre.
Who
Yeah.
cares?
Throws an
I don't
interception?
think he
It's
has-
okay.
I think he is smarter than that. I think he knows that she would. I mean, look how well that worked out for McCain, right? I mean, I just don't think that.
And
he
that's when
thinks-
she was somewhat popular.
Right, and that's
Yeah.
when no one knew enough to know that she probably wouldn't make a good vice president. I think at this point, the only people that want it is people who would be entertained by it.
Noah, do you have a different opinion on this, or same?
Not really, kind of a similar-ish opinion. There is a segment of the conservative, not the Republican, the conservative electorate that really genuinely believes that John McCain lost because of John McCain, and he only did as well as he did because Sarah Palin was on the ticket. They believe that Sarah Palin, and not John McCain, would have won in the 2008 election against Barack Obama. This is untethered to reality, but it is something they genuinely believe. This is something akin to what Donald Trump says along the lines of he would undeport good immigrants and deport bad immigrants. He would have a, quote, terrific health care reform alternative. His positions are calibrated insofar as they appeal to people who like good things and don't like bad things.
Oh,
This
wow.
is
You know,
the extent
I
of the
never
depth
thought of that.
the depth of his campaign.
Other politicians
But
should give it a
overarching-
try. It's an interesting
It's
strategy.
to say it works. It works for some people.
Overarching themes seem to resonate, though, because they're easy to absorb, understand, and in general, he's offering an optimistic perspective
Well,
on
I
the
would
future.
counter that a little bit too, because optimism is saying America is a great nation that can be revived and can be its greatness can be accelerated. His claim is we can make America great again. The implication there is it's not great right now, and I will be the engine that create a greater America.
Do you think it's great right now?
Yes, I certainly do. I certainly think that this is
the,
the greatest
the right
nation
track,
ever.
wrong track numbers seem to indicate otherwise.
No, but
Wrong
see,
track
Noah-
doesn't mean it's not a bad. That it means we're in a bad direction. It doesn't mean that the country
That's
is
right.
in a bad place.
Noah gets America. And I love that he said that. It is so true. This nation has always been great, and I'm telling you, long after I'm gone, I don't know about you, it's going to be great. And that's exactly right. You cannot be happy with its current trajectory or what's going on right now. It's happened many times in our history, but that doesn't change the fact that it's a great nation.
Let me be clear before the YouTube gets on me saying I don't think, like a Michelle Obama moment, I don't think the country's great anymore, I'm not proud of it. Of course I think it's great. I just think it could be vastly improved to a position
could
where
always
it
be
was at
vastly.
one point.
Yeah, I
Everything
think
can be.
people,
Final
and that's what people want to see. They want to see us get better because we're capable of so much more. But I think everyone agrees that it's the country.
Okay, well, Donald Trump has certainly shaken things up in a crowded Republican field. Take a look at this analysis from The Hill. Since Trump's entrance into the race, Ben Carson, Marco Rubio, Mike Huckabee, and Rand Paul have all seen their numbers fall, with Dr. Carson and Senator Rubio down more than 3%. But Jeb Bush and Scott Walker have actually seen their numbers rise since the Trump announcement. What do these numbers tell us, Noah Rothman?
Well, these are national polls. They're not state-level polls. The numbers are very different on the state level. But I'm very surprised by who is losing and who is gaining under the Trump surge. It seems to me as though there was a Jeb alternative vote that shifted over to Donald Trump, and that hurt a lot of the other non-Jeb candidates, whereas it sort of solidified the establishment support around Jeb and Scott Walker as well.
I was surprised to see Rubio in that group that lost a lot from the input of Trump, because Ben Carson similar, Mike Huckabee similar in that they're sort of outliers, but Rubio seemed to me more like Walker and Bush. He seemed sort of like a center-right type of candidate. So I was surprised to see his fall. But I think that, again, we're very early on, and Trump is taking up all of the oxygen. Give Rubio a little bit of oxygen, he may raise back up.
Right. Walker announced. Rubio hasn't announced in a while, or it's been a while since he came onto the team, but he's not getting any oxygen.
What those numbers show you, in my opinion, is that you have two Republican primaries going on. You have the real one, where Jeb Bush is improving, and Marco Rubio is in the real one. He's just losing steam a little bit to Jeb Bush, although maybe not in Florida. And then you have the reality show, right? The Trump one. And that's what it's telling you. It's telling you who we really expect to be the nominee is Jeb Bush, maybe Scott Walker. But we're going to pretend we like Trump in the meantime because it's so much fun.
Okay, and you forgot John Kasich in your walk.
Well, that's because he wasn't in those numbers.
As well, he will be. While Jeb Bush may have gotten a bump in the polls since Trump's announcement, he's now losing to Trump in his home state of Florida. It's true. Mr. Trump leads Governor Bush by 6 points and Senator Marco Rubio, another Florida native, by 16 points. Is that a source of concern to be trailing in your home state, Rick Unger?
It's a source of concern to Marco Rubio because that number should be better. I doubt that Jeb Bush is losing any sleep over it at this point. Florida primary is a long way away. I think a lot of the Trump phenomena, if we dare call it that, will have burnt off by then. And if I'm Jeb Bush, I'm feeling pretty good about it because I'm well ahead of the person who would scare me the most.
Absolutely. I think you'd be feeling really good about all the numbers that we've seen today, and the fact that Trump has really had little to no impact on him, which is interesting.
Because he goes after him the most.
Right.
Noah?
I don't trust that poll at all. It was it's not a live caller poll. It's an outlier, a dramatic outlier. The last live caller poll showed Jeb Bush doing substantially better than anybody else in the field, including Marco Rubio and Donald Trump.
Explain those polls real quick for the layman's at home.
Well, a live caller poll calls people and talks to them and as an actual interactive
Is this
person,
internet?
as opposed to, yes, this isn't a web poll. Web-based polls have a tendency to self-select. You don't know what the sample is. The sample tends to, they try to be scientific about it, but there's only so much you can do. It's just a step down from automated polls, so it's not really reliable.
Very good. And finally, Rick Perry is offering a challenge to Donald Trump. Perry was asked today to respond to some criticism Trump had for the former Texas governor.
He questioned your energy, toughness, and quote-unquote brain power that it might require to run a successful campaign. What would you say to Mr. Trump if he were standing here saying that in your presence?
Let's get a pull-up bar out there and see who's doing my pull-ups.
All right, quickly, who wins that contest in the pull-ups, Perry or Trump?
I don't think that's a hard one. I think we're giving that to Perry.
All right, very good. Heather?
Perry all the way.
Probably Perry, but they're both very old.
Oh,
Perry
It's
could
true,
use
says
those.
the 30-something-year-old. Big media and critics say Donald Trump isn't prepared to take over the White House, while many are saying he is. In fact, he wrote a whole book outlining exactly what he would do as president. It's called Time to Get Tough. The bestseller details Donald Trump's plan for our southern border, China, terrorism, much, much more. If you you want to learn more about Trump's plan, check it out at newsmax.com/TrumpBook. Back with more in a moment.